ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। Let us read from the 11th verse. Yadaksharam vedavido vadanti vishanti yadyatayo vitaragaha yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं संग्रहेण प्रवक्ष्ये संग्रहेण प्रवक्ष्ये। सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मनोहृदि निरुध्य मूर्ध्याधायात्मनः प्राणम् मूर्ध्याधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणाम् आस्थितो योगधारणाम्। ओमित्येकाक्षरं ब्रह्म ओमित्येकाक्षरं व्याहरन् मामनुस्मरन् व्याहरन् मामनुस्मरन्। यः प्रयाति त्यजन् देहम् यः प्रयाति त्यजन् देहम् स याति परमां गतिम् स याति परमां गतिम्। So in this last two verses, Lord Krishna explained how a person leaving, remembering me, to say it earlier, antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. So when one leaves or departs from this body, remembering me at the last moment, then he achieves me, he comes to me. That means he becomes me. That is being said here, that at the time of yah prayadit tyajan deham, while leaving this body, Om Brahma Vyaharan, uttering the name Om Om, Ma Manusmaran, at the same time he knows the meaning of the word Om also. So, when I know the meaning of the word part, then when the word part is uttered, then the meaning also flashes in my mind. And similarly also, when the meaning of the word Om flashes in the mind, which Om means Brahma, then the utterance of the word also means the seeing the meaning of the word. In this manner, when he departs, then Sayadi Paramam Gatim, he goes to the most exalted end, meaning that he comes to me, he becomes one with me. He was one with me, but he becomes one with me. There are two processes. One is knowing that I am him, other one is becoming him. Both these processes are described in Vedanta. The primary process, of course, is to know that I am him. But there is another process of becoming him also. And that is what is being described here. In Vedanta, there is called Krama Mukti. Mukti, or the liberation that comes in stages. The departing from here, this Upasaka or the meditator or the worshipper goes to a particular realm called Brahmaloka, the world of Brahma. And he remains there up to the end of this cycle of creation, and then along with Brahma, he becomes one with Brahman. See, Brahma and Brahman. Brahma is creator. Brahman is God ultimately. So this is what is, when it is said here, Sayati Paramam Gatim, he attains the highest end, what is meant is that thus departing from here, he goes into the region of Brahma, Hiranyagarbha, the creator, and at the end of this kalpa, or at the end of this cycle, he becomes one with Brahman. This is called Krama Mukti, liberation in stages. There is another one called Sadhya Mukti, liberation here and now, and that is the knowledge that I am Brahman. And so, when one meditates upon Brahman, then there is that duality between the meditator and the meditated. But if that duality is reduced to such a very subtle state, very little duality remains as a result of that meditation, then whatever final little distance remains can be resolved by spending the time in Brahmaloka and becoming one with Brahman. This is a concept. And we are not very keenly interested in it, but still it is being discussed because this also is a part of the scripture. The scripture does mention what we call Krama Mukti, or liberation in stages. It is also in keeping with the fundamental idea that this is a process, and once one has initiated that process, then there is always an upward travel, upward journey. Nahi kalyana krit kasit durgatim partha gacchati. In the 6th chapter, Lord Krishna said that, hey Partha, hey Arjuna, one who has initiated in this path, there is one who has committed one's life to liberation, to the knowledge, to the spiritual growth, and when that has become one's priority, then one will never come to a bad lot, which means that his journey will continue. If the journey does not get completed in this lifetime, it will continue in the next lifetime, and if not, again in the next lifetime, aneka janma samsiddha, and thus perfecting himself in course of number of births, tato yadi parangatim, he gains that paramgatim, or the ultimate goal he achieves. In that light we can see here that in case the yogi has not recognized this truth that I am Brahma, and he departs from here with the idea that I am a devotee of Brahman, even that also, ultimately, even that, so people ask this question, Swamiji, but when you say that I am Brahman, then who is worshipping whom? How can there be worship when there is only non-duality? But that non-duality is ultimate vision. But what is my experience at the moment? So we start with the experience that we have. I do feel separated from God. And so that seeming duality is experienced, and that becomes the basis of my worship and seeking grace of God. But ultimately, even that duality also will resolve into the ultimate knowledge of non-duality. Whether it resolves here, resolves in Brahmaloka, it will resolve. Okay, now this is said about a person who is able to depart from this body at will. That means he has gained such a mastery over himself, over his mind, over his life processes, that he can live at will. And there have been instances of the yogis being able to do that. They announce that I am going to depart at such and such time. And so it is not that this is impossible, but this is not necessarily the course that is followed by us. But this also is a course followed by the yogis, and therefore Lord Krishna mentions it here. Now we'll proceed with how do we relate to this whole thing? Because the question arises, how about people like me, let us say, he would ask, that I don't have that capability I don't have that kind of a control over my breath and my mind, that I can depart at will, that my departure from this body will be determined by my karma and not by my will, then what should I do? Then Lord Krishna says, don't worry. So 14th verse is for that, is an answer to that. Ananyacheta satatam, Ananyacheta satatam, Yo mam smarati nityashah, Yo mam smarati nityashah, Tasyaham sulabhah partha, Tasyaham sulabhah partha, Nityayuktasya yoginah, Nityayuktasya yoginah. Well, in the first word of this verse, you have to make a correction. It says Anyachetaha, you should add one na there. Ananyachetaha. Both in English transliteration also, it's not Anyachetaha, Ananyachetaha. It's very important. You see in the word meaning, you find it correctly, Ananyachetaha. One whose mind does not see the other. Anya means other. Ananya means not other. Chetas means a mind. So one who possesses a mind wherein one does not see the other, which means one who does not see anything other than God, or ultimately one who does not even see God as other than oneself, Ananyachetaha. So here, to begin with, Ananyachetaha is a person who has a mind in which there is nothing other than God. Ananyachetaha. Satatam. Satatam. Constantly. Smarati. He remembers me. So one who constantly remembers me with a mind wherein there is none other than me. Whatever be my perception of God at this time, but what is required is that in my mind there is nothing other than God. And with that kind of a mind, I remember Him satatam, constantly, nityashaha, every day for a length of time. So as we said earlier, Yoga Shastra talks about these three requirements in order to focus our mind on any one thing. To be able to cultivate that identification with any given thing, let's say during meditation, Dirghakala, Nairantaryam, Adara or Satkara. Dirghakala, that should be done for a long time. Not just for a month or two, or 15 days of camp or something like that, We'll give you moksha in 7 days or something like that. So at least Yoga Shastra doesn't believe in that. Dirghakala, a long time. Long time, all right, Swami, 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening is okay? No. Nairantaryam, all the time. And then also, not only all the time and for the long time, but Satkara, with a commitment, with an enthusiasm, with a commitment, with an involvement, with devotion. Then alone it can be established that I have value for it. What can I get in my life? That for which I have value. That this is valuable to me, not only valuable to me, the most valuable to me, not most valuable, the only valuable to me. Let us say, that is called Ananyachetaha. Again, this is also a process. It doesn't happen in one day, but in course of time. So, when we say cognitive change, that happens by understanding the realities of life, that whatever there is God, and that God alone is myself, and that a knowledge, a recognition, realization, a knowledge of this truth is all that is required for me to become free from the various misconceptions or notions that are arising from ignorance of that reality. And that even the seeking that I have of freedom, etc., all of this is because of the conclusions I have arrived at myself, which conclusions are born of ignorance of this reality. And therefore, knowledge of this reality alone, and that alone will be able to fulfill the agenda of my life. As long as I think that, Swami, I think that this is okay, but still, I must make $1 million. That is still required. No, but that I should have this kind of a thing. That means that this is valuable, all right, but a few other things are also valuable, which is okay. But as this becomes, first of all, this should gain some value in our life, then it will have some attention. Then it should become little more and more valuable, and should become most valuable, and should become only valuable. That is ananya cheta. Because my mind automatically gets centered upon that which is most valuable to me at a given moment. At a given moment, my mind will be centered on what is most valuable to me. Now that means at any moment when God or this, let us say knowledge, say moksha, liberation, and again my conviction that it is knowledge alone that can give me that freedom and nothing else, even all that conviction is not easy. First of all, to recognize that what I am seeking in my life is freedom. That I am not seeking any material stuff, that I am not seeking any artha and kama, etc. Even behind that desire for artha and kama, there is only desire for freedom, recognition of that. And that moksha is really the agenda of my life. That is the first recognition. Second recognition is that moksha can be attained only by knowledge and by no other process. Because already liberated I am and I have to know myself, I have to know the realities. And then, to the extent that this understanding is there, to that extent knowledge becomes valuable, to that extent whatever is required in order to gain knowledge becomes valuable, then whatever preparation I require to gain that knowledge, in terms of my self-growth, in terms of more Ishvara in my life, the more of Ishvara, the less of I. How does it happen? When Ishvara becomes important. And how much more Ishvara will have place in my life? Whatever importance he has. If he becomes the most important, there will be all Ishvara and no I. That's called ananya chetaha. One in whose mind there is nothing but Ishvara, because Ishvara is completely coming to his life. As we said, this is the process. Then alone, otherwise, now and then I find Ishvara important, then I remember him, I think of him. But then something else takes its place, because then other things are important, and therefore satatam, constantly doesn't happen. Oh, so 15 minutes is okay, I can allow that much time. Satatam, all along is important. But then Swami, I can't do anything. Then you can do everything keeping Ishvara in mind. Then for them, whatever he does, also does for Ishvara. Whatever he confronts, that is also Ishvara. Whatever he gets, that is gift of Ishvara. What he does not get, also gift of Ishvara. What he does is done for Ishvara. What he does not do is not done for Ishvara. I take bath for Ishvara. I eat food for him. How can Ishvara come in eating food? Yeah. See, I take bath so that I become clean and so that my mind will be fresh and so that I can worship him better. I eat food so that my body will be in proper healthy condition, so that I will have enough energy, that is vitality that is required to worship him. Sleep also I do. Why do I sleep? So that my mind gets rest, so that it can do what is required next morning. I don't go to sleep, that also because of, that means that I connect everything that I do, Ishvara. When he becomes the center, the focus of everything, that's called ananya cheta. Then alone satatam, constant remembrance is possible. It's not possible otherwise for me to retire completely and sit in a cave, that also can be done. But even when some kind of activity will have to be done, at least to feed my stomach, it is true that this person will have minimized his activities because he has no other priorities. It is understood also that the personal needs are minimum. But all this one has to discover. One cannot impose these things upon oneself. This is what one has to discover. Ananya chetaha, satatam, nityashah. So dirghakala, for a long time, Shankaracharya says, so, na shanmasam samvatsaram va, not for 6 months or a year. Kim tari, how long? Yavad jivam. as long as one is alive. Not for 5-10 minutes a day, nairantaryena, all the time. And not to oblige somebody, satkara, adara. I do it with an enthusiasm, with a commitment, with devotion. Yomam smaratin. Then all those processes are not required. You need not then. What earlier it was said is that the person who concentrates his mind on the heart and then that takes the prana up there through the sushumna nadi right up to the crown of the head and then he departs from here. All this sounds impossible, It's scary. I get intimidated when I listen to all these things. Don't worry. You need not worry about those things. Because physical processes are not important. Whether something travels from bottom to top is not important. What is important is what is in my mind. And therefore, if Ishvara is important to you, that's all that counts. Automatically, every energy will be centered around that, isn't it? Tasyaham sulabha partha. Hey Partha, hey Arjuna, for someone like that, aham sulabha. Sulabha means one that is easy to gain. I'm easily gained. So, hey Partha, hey Arjuna, even if you feel that, those yogic practices I cannot do, don't worry, just remember me. Smam smarati, just remember me. All the time, all the places, and so tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara. Remember me at all the times. That's the reason why texts like Bhagavad Gītā describe the glories of the Lord. They tell us, it is not only enough to say that everything is God. In fact, Lord Krishna takes a lot of pain. Because Arjuna says, oh Lord, it is so difficult for me to see you everywhere. You are everything, so what? I don't see God in this chair. It's difficult for me to see God in this mosquito and stuff like that. I know you are there, but I just can't get around to see that. Then what should I do? Katham vidyamaham yogin tvam sada parichintayan. Oh Lord, all the time thinking about you, how do I come to know you? Keshu keshu bhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya. Please tell me those specific expressions in which I can meditate upon you. And so Lord Krishna says, I'm the Himalayas among all the mountains, I'm the Ganges among all the rivers, and whatever. I'm the moon among all the, nightly shining things, I'm the sun among all the effulgent things. Like this, Lord Krishna describes his vibhutis or glories. Ultimately says, everything is my glory. But before I can see the glory in everything, at least I can start seeing his glories in good things. It's easier to see some godliness or divinity in my friend, very difficult to see it in my enemy. So don't worry about it right now. That is, don't burden yourself with the task of having to see him everywhere. Start seeing him somewhere. That is why we have the temples and places. Start seeing him in one place, in one image, in one place, in one whatever, in one name, in one form, and slowly you can expand it to other names and other forms. So, one who is wedded to this process, tasyaham sulabha partha, he partha, to this devotee of mine, I am sulabha, I am easily attained. Nitya yuktasya yoginaha. For a yogi who is nitya yuktaha, who is always united with me. So, united with God by remembering him. First I can remember, even remembrance also has different qualities. First of all, remembrance can be merely in the form of a name, that's all. Then that name may mean something. I say Ram, 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 that's all I may do. Then that name will become more and more meaningful to me. Oh, Rama means what? He is the son of Dasharatha, and then I remember him that way. Then can become even more meaningful. That no, son of Dasharatha, that's all right. But what does it symbolize? Ram means one who delights everyone. So one who is the very self of everyone, who delights everyone, who is the nature of Ananda. And it can even further become more meaningful by recognizing that Rama is my own self. So these things become more and more meaningful. Important is remembering him. Whatever idea or whatever understanding I have of him, in that way I remember. It's not mandatory that you must remember him only in certain way. Whichever way, whatever At the moment you're comfortable with, start remembering that. That means devote more and more time and energy in contemplating and remembering and meditating and worshipping. Tasyaham, to this devotee bhakta, aham sulabha. Hey Parsa, I'm easily attained. All right, suppose he attains to you, so what? Suppose this devotee of you attains to you. So what is to be achieved by that? So that's explained in the verse 15. Mamupetya punarjanma, mamupetya punarjanma, dukkhalayam ashashvatam, dukkhalayam ashashvatam, napnuvanti mahatmanah, napnuvanti mahatmanah, samsiddhim paramangataha, samsiddhim paramangataha. You can also see how Lord Krishna every so often brings his devotion. There is another hang-up in people, Swamiji, that this path of knowledge and path of devotion, that somehow that always remains. That I am a I like the devotee, Swamiji. What is the devotee and what is, how do we separate these two? How can you pursue knowledge without devotion for knowledge? How can you do that? How can you pursue anything unless there is a commitment in your heart? How can you do that? What is meant by bhakti? Doing something is not bhakti. Bhakti is the devotion, the love that I have is called bhakti. I can do this as a profession also. And so, we always identify bhakti or devotion with a certain kind of action, because some of the great devotees or saints of the past did certain things. They chanted God's name and they did certain specific things with which they are identified, and therefore we always identify devotion to God with certain kind of activity or certain kind of action. It is not that action, it is a love for Lord, and love is something that is intrinsically there in everybody's heart. And I always love that which is most valuable to me, and therefore the knowledge also is required that God is most valuable to me. So these things have to go together. It's not that one helps the other one. It is my love that prompts me to understand, who is God? It's my understanding of God that makes my love mature. And thus, each one helps the maturity of the other. And so, but Swamiji, all this logical stuff, argument, some people are not comfortable when it comes to arguments. Don't worry. It depends on how kind of an arguing mind you have. Some mind is an arguing mind, and therefore that mind requires arguments to get convinced. Some mind is not an arguing mind, it is convinced without arguments. Don't worry. Important thing is the conviction in my mind, in conviction. When it is said that Ishavastimidam Saram, everything is Ishvara, if that word is enough to convince me, don't need any arguments. Upanishad may not provide any argument, just make a statement like that, which is a statement of truth. Oh yeah, it makes sense to me, fine. Doesn't make sense to you, then we'll further argument. That doesn't, that's fine. It depends upon the disposition of different people. But that is why we find all of these things are woven all throughout in Bhagavad Gītā. In the chapter of bhakti you find knowledge, in knowledge you find bhakti, and then you find karma. You cannot find, although we tentatively say that the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gītā can be divided into the three groups of 6 chapters each, then the first group of 6 chapters, Lord Krishna primarily discusses karma, and the second 6 chapters discusses bhakti, and the third upasana, worship, and the third 6 chapters discusses knowledge. But that doesn't mean that each chapter, doesn't mean that this is a strict classification. This is the general, more time and more space is given to them, not that one is different from the other. And therefore, we find everything almost in every chapter. Okay, now coming to the 15th verse, what happens when this devotee or this knower, wise man, that he attains his Lord? It says, Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam mamupetya, having reached me. Punarjanmana apnuvanti, having reached me, this wise man are no more gain the rebirth. They do not gain another birth. Having reached me, it is not necessary to go through the process of this birth and death. So this is called moksha, becoming free from the process of birth and death. Why do they associate this moksha with freedom from birth and death? It is freedom from pain, let us say. Liberation, moksha means freedom from pain, freedom from suffering. And this process of birth and death is always permeated by suffering of one kind or the other. So there is suffering in the human life constantly. Three kinds of the suffering, the pains are there. Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, three sources are there, Adidaivika. Either pain can be caused by my own self, my body or my own mind, or pain can be caused by Adibhautika, the elements, elemental world around me, that may include all the creatures and all kinds of things around me. Or pain can be caused by what we call the sources, divine sources, not known to me. That's why they identify them as different graha, planets and things like that. That is causes unknown to me. Thus there are three sources of pain, and then there is nobody who is born who is free from this. As Swami Dayananda used to say formerly, I don't see him saying it these days, he used to say, what is human life? Dukkham, 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 sukham. Dukkham, 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 sukham. Meaning what? Pain, 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 happiness. Pain, 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 happiness. That is, there is more, predominance of pain or suffering rather than that of happiness. This is not a negative view of life, this is just an observation of life. That's all. That in birth there is pain, in growth there is pain, in old age there is pain, in disease there is pain. In failure there is pain, in dishonor there is pain, in discomfort there is pain. In loss there is pain, in separation there is pain. And so pain seems to be woven into life. And therefore the process of birth and death is synonymous to pain. When it is said that, Lord Krishna says that the wise people who attain me, they do not have to be born again. That means that they do not have to go through this pain. That's all. Arising from individual, arising from the world around me, arising from the force unknown to me, that one becomes free from all that pain. Mamupetya punarjanma. Punarjanma means rebirth. Reincarnation, rebirth. What is the nature of the rebirth? Lord Krishna gives us here two adjectives. Dukkhalayam, ashashvatam. Dukkhalayam, the abode of misery. Ashashvatam, finite or ephemeral, perishable. So the life is characterized by these two things. Number one, it is abode of misery. You know, Gautam Buddha said, Sarvam kshanikam kshanikam, sarvam dukkham dukkham. So here also we are told, it is not a negative view of the life, or not is there an attempt to reject life or try to run away from life or avoid life. It is just to understand the realities of life. That this life is an abode of misery. No, Swami, I have a lot of pleasure in my life. I have no misery. The Yoga Shastra says that apparent pleasures are also misery in as much as you do not know what you are missing. That's all. Many years ago, when I used to be in the United States, somebody asked, people used to ask, Swami, do you drink? So I was not a Swami that time. Do you drink? I said, no. Do you eat meat? I said, no. Do you go to nightclubs? I said, no. Everything, no. He says, you don't know what you are missing. I said, as long as I don't know, I don't mind. But then that's what it is. We do not know what we are missing. Even if a person says, I am quite happy, but still there are levels and levels and levels. What potential that life has to offer us, whether we are able to really live up to that full potential or not. It's one thing to pass time and then avoid pain, it's all right, but then the life has a tremendous amount of potential, that the self and everything happens to be infinite. Anando Brahmeti Vijanat. He realized that Brahma is Ananda. Ananda Dhyeva Khalvimani Bhutani Jayande. The whole universe is born of Ananda. Sustained by Ananda. Goes back into Ananda. Ananda means fullness. With reference to that fullness, whatever little pleasures I may have in my life are insignificant. And therefore, what is the distance between the limited and the limitless? As Swami said, it is limitless. That means, what am I missing? I am missing that limitless. Even though my life may not be characterized by misery, we don't want to insist that life is misery. We don't want to insist that way. Life can be great pleasure. And still, any limited pleasure is going to be insignificant with reference to the fullness that is limitless. In that sense, it is said, the life is dukkhalayam, is an abode of misery, meaning it's at the most an abode of very limited pleasures. And suppose somebody says that, okay, I am enjoying my life, then ashashvatam, and then also it is only transient, it is only for a short time. So these are the two things that we are trying to avoid all the time. All the time we are trying to avoid pain or misery, and we are trying to avoid death also. Because that death, meaning that a transitory life or transient life or life that is short span, is not acceptable to me. Death is something that is not acceptable to me. Pain or suffering is something not acceptable to me. To point out, to bring that to our attention, Lord Krishna says that is what there is in this life, and therefore, and you are trying to become free from that, and that freedom is what you gain when you attain me. Mahupeti punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam mahatmanah na apnuvanti. Mahatmanah, the wise people, no more than gain this life of birth and death, which is characterized by misery and a sense of limitation and a struggle, and again also a constant awareness that I am here for a limited time, because that life is only short-lived. Samsiddhim paramam gata. What is meant by attaining God is paramam samsiddhim gata. Those who have reached ultimate success. So ultimate success in life is defined as, described here, as reaching Him. That means recognizing my full potential. Put it this way. What is my full potential is limitless. And therefore, recognizing that, abiding in that is meant by reaching God. And once you do that, that is success in life. But people plan, well, how about going to heavens? How about going to some other realms? And in fact, we find descriptions of Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka is the seventh world, you know. Bhuhu, bhuvaha, suvaha, mahaha, janaha, tapaha, satyam, satyaloka. So all abodes where you have heightened degree of happiness. So bhuhu, this world, provides some degree of happiness. Bhuvaha, next world, suvaha, mahaha, janaha, tapaha. In each of these realms, supposedly the degree of the intensity of happiness that you experience is higher and higher, and the highest in Satyaloka or Brahmaloka. Suppose I go to Brahmaloka, isn't that okay? Then also will I not be free from pain? If becoming free from pain is our agenda, then is it not that I can become free from pain if I go to Brahmaloka? Then Lord Krishna says about that in the 16th verse. Abrahma bhuvanal lokaha, Abrahma bhuvanal lokaha, punaravartino arjuna, punaravartino arjuna. Mamupetyadu kaunteya, mamupetyadu kaunteya, punarjanmana vidyate, punarjanmana vidyate. Brahma bhuvanat lokaha punaravartinaha. Here Arjuna, we don't have this problem. We are not planning for Brahma Loka or Swarga Loka also. But in case, it depends on the kind of the kind of thinking that prevails at a given point in time. They were the days when Swarga or heavens was very important for people and they would be planning for that. What to talk of Brahmaloka? Very important. Today is not important. Today life after this, life hereafter is not very important. That doesn't come into our thinking process. But when it did come, then this verse is relevant that here Arjuna, all the realms up to Brahmaloka, and that's the highest realm, Punaravartinaha. All of them are of the nature of those from which one has to return. That means there is no permanent abode. The idea is that other than Brahman there is nothing permanent. Everything is impermanent. No doubt Brahmaloka or that Loka of Brahma lasts for a long time. Yesterday, the next verse will tell us how long that world is. But it is billions and trillions and zillions and I don't know, 10 is to 27. I don't know what to say about that. That is the length of time through which this one cycle of creation will be there, according to their calculation. But even that also is limited. The idea is that every realm of every world is limited in time. Arjuna recognized that what you are seeking is free from every kind of limitation, and nothing is permanent, everything is impermanent. There are just the matters of degrees of impermanence. Something is born and dies right away. Something takes 1 year, some things may take 200 years. Redwood trees may take, 2,500 years, something like that. Whatever. Or maybe 1 billion years. And still, someday, it will come to an end. And you will find yourself beginning from square one. Punaravartino Arjuna. Here Arjuna, having gained that experience in that realm, you have to again come back because you find that you are not complete. That when even that experience also comes to an end, then you find yourself a seeker again. And therefore, Punaravartinaha. You will have to come back again to the human world seeking again that limitlessness. That means there is no permanent solution other than coming to me. That's what the second line says. Mamupetya kaunteya punarjanma vidyate. However, Mamupetya, having reached me, hey kaunteya, punarjanma vidyate, there is no coming back. There is no rebirth, meaning there is no coming back. There is no further struggle of seeking because this struggle of life has come to a fulfillment. Etad buddha buddhiman syat kritakrutyasya bharata. Lord Krishna says he becomes kritakritya. That means he becomes one who has discovered a total fulfillment in the life. And that can happen only by knowing me as yourself and in no other way. Only by knowing the reality of life. This is the primary thesis of Vedanta. That every kind of suffering, emotional suffering, not physical pain, emotional pain, is all only due to ignorance. Ignorance of the reality of life, ignorance of the true nature of myself, ignorance of the world, ignorance of God. On the very first day we said that this ignorance is not merely absence of knowledge, but having false understanding or wrong conclusions about myself, wrong conclusions about the world, wrong conclusions about God. That is the source of every kind of emotional pain. And even though there can be psychotherapy and stuff like that, which can give us some definitely certain relief and help us ultimately to become free from that pain, the only means is to know the realities, to become free from those misconceptions. So when Lord Krishna is attaining me, doesn't mean that we have to reach him physically. Knowing him as our own self. Punarjanmana vidyate. Hey Kaunteya, there is no punarjanma, there is no rebirth, which means that you become free once and for all from this life of seeking, life of struggle. How do you say that Brahmaloka also is not permanent? Even Brahmaloka also is not permanent? He says no, because that also has a time span. What is it? 17th verse tells us that. Sahasrayuga paryantam aharyad brahmano viduhu aharyad brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratra vido janaha ahoratra vido janaha. Those people who know about the day and night of Brahma, they're experts, they're all astrologers. So the people who deal with kala all the time, so those people who know the scales of time, not scales of simply this time in the earth, but scales of cosmic time. So those who are knowers of the scales of cosmic time, what do they say about the duration even of that Brahma? Talking of Brahmaloka, the world of Brahma, the creator. And the way this is looked at is that this Brahma also has a lifespan. Extremely long but still lifespan. His life consists of 100 years. Each year has 360 days. Each day of 24 hours, let us say, is a half day and night. Okay, this is how Brahma's life is. So what is the length of the day of this Brahma? Says Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. The duration of one day of Brahma is 1000 yuga. 1000 units, so 1000 cycles. One cycle consisting of Chatur Yuga. We know the 4 ages are there, the Satya or Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. This 4 makes up 1 unit. And 1000 such units is equal to 1 day of Brahma, 1 day of Creator. What does this 4 yugas amount to? What do they add up to? What is Kali Yuga? Kali Yuga, as we were saying yesterday, 432,000 years, of which only 5,000 years have gone. 432,000 years. What is Dwapara Yuga? 864,000 years. That is twice. What is Treta Yuga? 3 times that. And what is Satya Yuga? 4 times that. And therefore, 1 Chatur Yuga or 1 unit of these 4 yugas adds up to 4.32 million years. Multiply that by 1000. 4.32 million multiplied by 1000 is 4.32 billion. So therefore, the duration of the day of Brahma is 4.32 billion years, human years. Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam. His night also is the same duration. So night also is 4.32 billion years. And therefore, his 1 day of 24 hours adds up to 8.64 billion years. Multiply that by 360 and you get his 1 year. And multiply that by 100 and you get his lifespan. Which is mind-boggling, it is so long, it's mind-boggling. But still, there is a time. The idea is that even the world of Brahma and life of Brahma also has a time span. However long it may be, but it has a time span. Which means that it is still limited in time. Which means that it is subject to creation and subject to dissolution. Even that world of Brahma also someday will come to an end, and then you will start this business all over again. And going to that world of Brahma is not easy at all. It is next to impossible. The kind of upasanas, meditations and things are impossible essentially, but we find descriptions of those in the Upanishads and the Vedas. But even if you attain that highest attainment, still it is limited in time. What happens when then Prajapati or Brahma, the creator, when he goes to sleep and when he wakes up, what happens? Does anything happen? So Lord Krishna describes that. Now, Lord Krishna wants to talk about the limitless, wants to talk about that which is not limited in time. And so that which is free from limitation of time is being described here with reference to those that are limited in time. So Lord Krishna first tells us what is the universe, how it is limited in time, and contrasting that he will tell us what it is that is beyond the limitation of time. And therefore the next verse tells us, next two verses as a matter of fact, tell us what happens when Brahma the creator goes to sleep and what happens when he wakes up. See, this is the model of creation that is provided by the Vedic scriptures. The model of creation is something similar to the kind of process that we go through every day. Every day we go to sleep, where I go to sleep where my whole personality becomes causal or unmanifest, and when I wake up, my personality becomes manifest. This is the process going on from manifest to unmanifest, unmanifest to manifest. Understand that in deep sleep there is no destruction. Not that my personality, my memory, my desires, my all, whatever I have, or none of that gets destroyed. All of that just gets into this causal state, becomes what we call unmanifest in a potential state. And when I wake up, all that potential again becomes manifest. That's the reason why next morning I find myself the same kind of fellow who went to sleep. No different person. Even in deep sleep, things are destroyed and every morning a new person will wake up, get up. That doesn't happen. There is a continuity. In fact, there is a memory also that I who went to sleep last night is I who has woken up this morning. Similarly also Brahma, then see, when I wake up, how my whole personality wakes up with me. When I go to sleep, how the whole personality goes to sleep. Similarly also when Brahmaji, when he wakes up, the whole world wakes up. When he goes to sleep, the whole world of living beings goes to sleep. And so that is what is being said in the next two verses. Let us read the 18th verse. Avyaktād vyaktayas sarvāha Avyaktād vyaktayas sarvāha Prabhavantyah rāgame Prabhavantyah rāgame Rātryāgame praliyante Rātryāgame praliyante Tatraiva vyakta sanyake Tatraiva vyakta sanyake. Avyaktat, from the unmanifest, sarvaha vyaktaha, all that is manifest, prabhavanti aharagame. They arise at the beginning of the day. That is when this Brahmaji wakes up in the morning, when his day begins. Then we can say that a sub-cycle of creation. There are sub-cycles of creation, like every day I wake up and every day I go to sleep, and a day comes when I go to sleep forever also. There is a day when I woke up, and there is a day when I go to sleep, not to come back. In between, that may be 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. In between, every day I go to sleep, and every day I wake up. So there is a sleep, there is an everlasting sleep. And there is a sleep that lasts for just the night. Similarly for Brahma, the creator also, he goes to sleep every day. It is not everlasting sleep, just lasting during the night. And again he wakes up. When his lifespan comes to an end, he goes to sleep forever, then not to come back. But here we are told that when he wakes up in the morning, which is a pretty long time, 8.64 billion years is one day, that is when he wakes up. Then he will be awake for 4.32 billion years and he will sleep for 4.32 billion years. Tentatively, this is what is said here. Interestingly enough, that is said to be the lifespan of the universe also. The earth was said to be born before 4 billion years. The whole universe is said to be born before 10 or 15 or 20 billion years. So we are talking about the time scale which has impressed the scientists. So when the scientists, when they come across this, they are quite impressed at the kind of time scale that the scriptures are talking about. But anyway, we are interested in the process of life that takes place, that from the unmanifest, which is a state of deep sleep, there is a manifestation of the whole world, And when again his night comes, the whole world again goes to unmanifest. Unmanifest to manifest, manifest to unmanifest. This is how the process constantly goes on. All right, but the whole set of creatures, all the living beings, they get manifest and go to unmanifest. But how about the living beings that manifest next day? Are they same fellows or different fellows? That every time Brahmaji wakes up and the whole universe becomes awake, is it the new set of creatures that are born, or the same fellows keep on being born again? It is the same fellows that keep on being born again and go back to sleep, born again, and not born again meaning not born again this way, but then those same fellows are there. They alone become manifest and they alone become unmanifest. That is said in the 19th verse. Let us read that. Bhutagramasya evayam Bhutagramasya evayam Bhutva bhutva praliyate Bhutva praliyate Ratriagame vashah partha Ratriagame vashah partha Prabhavatyah ragame Prabhavatyah ragame. It is same group of Saiva ayam bhutagramaha, the same group of living beings, which are countless of course. So they repeatedly come into being and repeatedly again become unmanifest. In short, it is the same group of living beings that repeatedly comes into being and manifest and unmanifest, manifest and unmanifest. And not that every time new beings are born, same fellows go through the cycle again and again. Okay, we'll take up this idea in the afternoon. And what's the reason for saying this? We'll discuss that. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.